Hey everybody, it's Soaping Sunday, and today we are going to be talking about how to sign up for soap business insurance, specifically through the Handmade Artisan insurance company. So I just signed up for it and I made some mistakes, and I want to share that process with you so that it's so much easier for you to go through that process when you're ready to do so. If you just started looking into insurance for your soap making business or a similar handcrafted artisan type business, and you're not sure which insurance company you want to go with, I did make a video where I explored 5 different options for insurance for my soap business, and I share all the pros and cons that I came across in my research. So if you want to check that out, I'll place the link below for Soaping Sunday episode 20. And now, after all that research I did, I ultimately chose the Handmade Artisan insurance, and watch that process as I sign up for it. All right, the insurance we are signing up for is the Handmade Artisan insurance. And the first thing that I did was I made sure I learned all about it. And I read through all of their facts. I read through their qualifications. So they answered a lot of my questions on this frequently asked questions list here, because I had questions about eligibility to make sure my soap was eligible. And I had questions about if I could add an additional insured, because my husband, I wanted to make sure, was also on the insurance. And I also wanted to know about renewal reminders, because reminders are great. I really like reminders, especially with owning a business. There's always a lot of things that need to be renewed each year. They are all at different dates, and having reminders is great. So they do give you reminders at 75 days, 15 days, and 1 day before your policy expires. So that is awesome. And then I did like that you can add on an additional insured person and there's no additional cost, which is amazing. So I will be doing that. As far as eligibility, you can click here to see the list of eligible or ineligible products. It's also under qualifications. So when I looked at this list, I saw that soap is eligible. And since I make homemade soap, that is promising. But one of my concerns was it said under not eligible, it says ingestible products, including food or drink, toothpaste. So my concern was that I use food as a natural colorant for my soap. So I'll use cocoa powder to turn my soap brown. I'll use spirulina powder to get a green color in my soap, and things of that nature. So my question was, can I use those items in my soap and still be eligible for this insurance? So I went to contact and I filled this out here with my name, email, and then I put in questions about qualifications. My message to them was asking if my soap would qualify for insurance if I used food products such as cocoa powder, spirulina, activated charcoal, and things of that nature in my soap. And I received an email back from the company saying that those are fine, your products are eligible. And so that gave me peace of mind that my soap qualifies for this insurance. Now, I'm going to sign up for this, so we're going to do this together and figure it out as we go. So how it works is that we're going to fill out an application first, we're going to select our coverage option, and then we're going to purchase and download the policy. So let's view the policy options. So when reviewing the policy options, there's a $100 price difference, and you're looking at $1 million in occurrence limit coverage versus $2 million. And so you'll see $1 million differences between these two options. And then your medical expense limit is $1,000 on option 1 versus $5,000 on any one person on option 2. Personally, for me, just starting off, this is my first year of selling soap, and getting started, I'm going for the lower cost option 1 because I'm just getting started. I'm trying to keep my costs low, and next year I will reevaluate when it's time to renew whether I want to upgrade to a larger insurance policy or if I'm going to continue with a different insurance. It's all going to depend on how the business goes this year and what my needs are at that point. But the $285 is option 1, and that is what we're going for today. So let's continue to purchase so that we can fill out our application. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this out. Some of the information is gonna be blurred out for privacy reasons. How you heard about us. I actually heard about it from Soap Queen on YouTube. My email is yannick@justonemorestoryfarm.com. I'm using my business email rather than my personal email because I like anything business related to go through my business email. Account password. I like to use my own password, but thank you for offering. Okay, after step 1, where you put in your personal information, then go step 2, business information. So business name, just One More Story Farm LLC. Business type is an LLC. My business phone number is my cell phone. My website is just onemorestoryfarm.com. My business email is yannick@justonemorestoryfarm.com. My address, the business address, is also my home address. I live in Massachusetts, Rehoboth, Massachusetts. All right. Step 3, eligibility information. Do you make all of the products you sell? Hand make includes your products handmade by others under your direct supervision. And I make all my products myself by hand, so yes. What year did you start your handmade business? So this year, 2023. Has any liability claim arising out of your handmade business activities or your products ever been made against you or your business? No. What products do you hand make? I make soap. Do you make or sell any of the products listed below? No. Oh, that makes sense. I don't make ingestible products, so no. Are your gross annual sales greater than $100,000 over the past 12 months? I have made $0 because I have not launched my soap business yet. I want insurance first before I launch, so that would be no. When would you like your policy to be effective? I mean, I think it's smart just to make it effective now. That way it's all set. I don't have to worry about when I do decide to launch if it's underway. So sure, let's do today. Apply now. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, that's not good. What did I do wrong? I entered my phone number incorrect. Silly me. I missed a number. It's the only thing red. So here we go. Take 2. Apply now. What did I do wrong now? Oh, the password is not in here. Okay, so let's try this again. So apparently if you re-enter, you got to put the password back in. All right, take 3. All right, policy options. Congratulations, you are eligible for the following policies. Yay, I'm eligible. Excellent. So each policy comes with instant coverage, immediate proof of insurance, 24/7 access to your policy, and an A+ rated insurance carrier. Annual cost is fully earned and non-refundable. Okay, here we go. Let's go. Option 1, $285. Please initial below to acknowledge this policy is not refundable and that you agree to the terms and conditions below. Ooh, terms and conditions. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna read this over quick and then we will get to checkout. And I didn't see anything in the terms and conditions that would present a problem for my products. I'm gonna initial here and continue to check out. All right, total $285. Let's go check out. So contact information, my name, my business email. I'm gonna click next, address information. So this is my credit card billing address. Since that's correct, let's go to payment information. So this is where I put in my payment information, and I am going to pay this out of my business checking account because I try to keep all my personal and my business finances separate, and I want this insurance to be paid for by the business. My farm business is all under the same LLC as this new soap business under one umbrella. And so I just sold a bunch of chicks that I raised up, and that cash I received for selling those chicks I put into my business banking checking account, and that money I'm going to use to pay the $285 for this insurance. Since it's all under the same umbrella, I'm using cash flow from the farm portion of the business to put into my new soap business, and in the hopes that they're going to support each other in the near future as two sources of income for this business. So let's go put in some information. All right, so now I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna click place order. All right, so my account, so here is your policy will expire on 10/16/2024 at 12:01 a.m. Look at that, all right. The certificate of coverage form indicates your unique certificate number, policy number, period of coverage, and the limits of liability insurance you have purchased. Okay, so I can download this. I'm gonna print it out and put it in my business binder where I keep all of my business certificates and information. So let's print this. It's pretty cool. It's got all of my limits of insurance, my policy number, my agency. Very nice. That's amazing how quickly that works. And just like that, look at this. I've got my insurance certificate within minutes of filling out an application. That is amazing. Let's do this part here. An additional insured is a person or organization that is added to your general liability insurance by endorsement. This is a common request in the course of doing business, and there is no cost to add. Enter the additional insured information as requested, and a certificate of insurance will be produced in PDF format, which you can download and print or email. Oh, okay, so I should have waited to print this one out because I'm gonna be adding this in. Good to know, okay. Okay, I'm gonna put in my husband's information, and then I am going to submit it. So after I submitted that, I then clicked view listing, and it's coming up here with my husband's information, and it says that I can download a PDF. So let's see what that looks like. Whoa, okay. So my husband has his own certificate of liability insurance, so I will print that as well. Wow, so that's 10 pages. Okay, so my question is, like, according to this document, the business, just one more story farm, is insured. And now I just added my husband to be insured. But as with my husband and I both being co-owners of this business, did I have to add him as a certificate holder, or do we both fall under this business and are covered that way? Or do I need to also add myself, like I just did with my husband, as additional holders? So I am going to call and ask that question. So download policy. Should you need access to the entire insurance policy, please click here to view or download your policy in PDF format. This document includes all of the policy terms and conditions. Okay, all right. So let's see. Look at this. This is a lot. 57 pages of insurance. Alrighty then. That is amazing. Okay. I'm not gonna print that just yet because I need to find out first on whether I'm gonna be adding myself in additional insured or if I should take my husband off of additional insured because we're both under the company. Next is edit account information. You may edit some of your account information, such as your mailing address, email, website, phone numbers, etc. For business name changes, please call us. So let's see what that gives us. So account information. So my name is under the account information, and then the business information, I'm just going to leave that as is. So that is completed. So now we wait to hear back about additional insured. But I'm so excited. The business is covered. I've got insurance. That was really simple to do and quick. And based on my research, that was inexpensive for a business insurance policy. So that's for the full year. But I spoke to Dan at the Handmade Artisan Insurance, and he was a wealth of knowledge. He was so helpful and explained all the ins and outs as to what additional insured means as far as insurance for your product, for your company. And turns out I don't need to include my husband as an additional insured. That's not what that is for. With me putting my Just One More Story Farm LLC business name as the business being insured, my husband and I being the owners of that LLC, we are part of that brand. That is what is covered. We don't need to be additional insured. So I removed my husband as the additional insured that I had placed on there. Okay, so it turns out it was really easy to remove my husband from additional insured. I just clicked on the edit remove button next to his name and scrolled to the bottom of his contact information and clicked remove. It brought me to this screen that says you have no additional insured, which is perfect because I shouldn't have added him in there in the first place. So in the future, if I do a farmer's market or a venue that requires that I have them listed under my additional insured, I can add it here. Another helpful tip that Dan said was that if over the course of the year I have a farmer's market that I list here or a venue and I come to the end of my policy, when it comes time for renewal, these insured venues will no longer be on the policy. I'll start a whole new year with the policy, and I would not add those back in unless I am required to do so by the venue for another farmer's market event, or if I'm going to have my products in their store in the new calendar year and it's required by the venue. So it's not something where year after year after year you have to keep putting those same ones in because you sold your products at their venue in the summer of 2024 and you need to keep them in your policy. That's not the case. He said each renewal year you start fresh. So as long as you had them as additional insured during the time that you are selling the products through their venue. So if at a later date someone claims a bodily injury happened at that farmer's market at your venue, as long as you had coverage during that time and had them listed as additional insured, then that venue is covered during that time for that bodily injury. So a big thank you to Dan for clarifying that for me. Okay, so let's go back to my account. And it's great that it's all here saved under my account that I can access as needed just by signing in to the Handmade Artisan Insurance. Honestly, I found what he told me to be so fascinating. So I'm going to summarize what he told me, which is that additional insurance option is for if you are going to do a craft show, a farmer's market, or if you're going to sell products in a grocery store, you may be required by that vendor to have not only business insurance, but to have their name as an additional insured on your policy for that event or for the duration that you're going to be selling your product in their venue, right? So I was like, oh, good, because I am looking into potentially doing a farmer's market or doing a craft show, and I wasn't sure. I did see in some of the information that it says you have to be insured, but I figured check, like I'm doing the insurance. But he did say it is a normal occurrence in the artisan world that vendors ask to be added onto the policy as an additional insured, and they want to see that certificate in writing that they are in there listed as additional insured to cover the venue in case there is an accident that happens at that venue in your leased space. where someone is suing for a bodily injury. So lesson learned, that additional insured thing is not for me to be placing my husband, who's my partner in this business, as an additional insured. Not where that goes. So I don't currently have any craft shows or farmers markets coming up, but when I do, if they do require that I show proof that I not only have insurance, but that they are listed as additional insured on my policy, I can fill that information out under additional insurance, and they'll give me a PDF document with all that information. I can print it off and I can give that to the vendor to show that I have insurance. And that's so good to know, so that I'll be prepared when it comes time for me to sign up for any sort of venue like that. So let me share the example that he gave to me. So say that I go to a farmer's market or a state fair, local fair, or a craft show, and I am leasing a space from them, which say it's a 10 by 10 area where I'm gonna set up my tent, set up my table, and my soaps on display. The venue will say, we need documentation that we are an additional insured under your policy. So you go ahead and you do that, and you print it out, you give that to the venue. So you're at that venue, you set up your 10 by 10 tent, you get it all set up, you have a box of supplies that you have out while you're setting up. Say a customer comes in, they trip over the box, they break a bone. The insurance that I signed up for, he said that covers bodily injury. So in the event that you're sued because someone tripped over a box in your venue space, your business is covered. However, if that person also sues the venue to which they tripped at, that venue wants to know that they are covered based off of your paperwork that shows that your business insurance will cover the bodily injury in the event that that were to happen. Which makes sense. Once he explained it, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, yes, that makes total sense. Now he said, only use that additional insurance if the venue requires it. Because for each additional insured, you are sharing your insurance limits with those companies. And so if the venue requires it, do the additional insurance, get them the paperwork. If it's not required, you don't have to do that. So great tip for me to keep in mind for when and if I go down that route. And then he gave me a second example, and I love examples. It really helps my brain understand how it all works. So he said, if I decided to wholesale my products to say like a local spa or to a Whole Foods grocery store, and that retailer required that I had their name as an additional insured on my business insurance policy, that I could go ahead and do that because that venue wants to make sure that they're being covered in case there was, say, an adverse reaction to your product. Because an adverse reaction, he said, would be considered a bodily injury. And my policy through the Handmade Artisan insurance covers bodily injury. And so my product could sell in a store, and then a few months later when that product is taken home and used, say that person had an adverse reaction, which that would be horrible, but it can happen. And if they decide to sue, they could sue my company and they could sue the vendor, like the grocery store or the spa. And having that insurance that covers both my company and the vendor helps protect everyone all around in that regard. Okay, and final tip, it's another gem. So he was saying the policy that I got, it lasts 1 year. After 1 year, I have the choice to renew it or not, right? So he was saying that if someone were to buy my product, say at a farmer's market, and they gifted it to a friend, but that friend didn't use it until, say, 6 months later, and my year-long policy had lapsed. If they used it after my policy had lapsed, they had an adverse reaction, I would not be covered because the adverse reaction happened after my policy was over. Okay, so he said it's really important that you renew on time, and I said, is there an automatic renewal that I can sign up for? Because I love automatic renewals, because then I don't have that worry in my head, am I gonna miss that date? And then I'm making tons of Google reminders in my phone year after year to remember to get things renewed in time, right? And he said, no, there's no automatic renewal, but they do send out 3 reminders in advance. I'll take all the reminders I can get because I don't want it to lapse. I did ask him though, if I decided to go with a different insurance policy or a completely different insurance carrier at the point of renewal, how does that work? So he said, as long as I have insurance coverage, then that's great. So whatever the adverse reaction occurs, if I have insurance, I'm covered. So he said it's just important to make sure, whether it's with our insurance or a different insurance, that either way your business is covered. And he said that there are artisans that get into making a product, then decide they no longer want to make that product anymore, right? But he said they'll actually continue to keep the insurance for that business, for that product, because things can come up when people use those products later on. And if your business insurance has lapsed, if there's an issue that comes up and you're not covered, you are at risk. And so he said, keep that in mind if you decide to stop making soap and do something different. So if, say, down the line I decide I don't want to make goat milk soap anymore, I should keep in mind that my products are still out there, and so continuing to renew my insurance is a smart business decision, because there's still the chance that you could get sued for someone using your product years later and having an adverse reaction or something of that nature. So I'm so happy that I called and got clarification, because I learned so much more than just the question that I went in to ask. And so I'm really glad that I made that call and that I chose this insurance company. So I now have my certificate of coverage. I have my certificate of liability insurance, and they also emailed me my receipt, which is great for business tax purposes. I can show the expense that I have for my insurance. And honestly, it was so quick and easy to do, aside from my questions, but they were prompt in calling me back and answering my questions all within a very short period of time. And so I'm happy. So now I am one step closer to being able to launch my soaping business and start selling my soap. It's really exciting. So what's next for my next soaping business step? I need to get a Massachusetts sales tax license. So that is what I'm going to research next and see what I need to do as far as that goes, so that I can make sure that when I sell my soap, I am correctly adding tax to the soap product that I'm selling, and that I am correctly paying those taxes to Massachusetts, and that I have that sales tax license to go hand in hand, and everything that entails, that I'm diving into next, and you will see that in a future Soaping Sunday. So thank you for hanging out with me today, and if you haven't started making soap yet, what are you waiting for? Get your soap on. Also, if you liked this video and you want to see more of this kind of content, please hit that subscribe button down below. If you liked the video, giving a thumbs up, hitting that like button also helps support the channel, and I really appreciate it. Have a great day.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to farm a wicked awesome farm? Watch this channel to learn what to do. We love to farm and we'll show you. Yeah.